Hey everyone, welcome to the E2 Effective Elders podcast. Visit us at e2elders.org and please share this good word with others.
Hi, ladies. Welcome to the E2 Women's Podcast. And we want to thank CDF Capital for their great sponsorship. It's good to have you join us this afternoon. I'm here with my friend, Christina Bledsoe. She's our E2 Marketing Director. So good to be with you again, Christina. We missed a month, but we're back in the routine of things. So ladies, we're glad you've joined us. Our focus this month at E2 has been on stronger finances. Christina, you wrote an article for us that is appearing in our e-news this week. And in that article, you mentioned the term bag lady syndrome. So can you share a little bit about that with us?
Sure. Bag lady syndrome is a term that originated back in the 70s. And it was used to describe women who were afraid of basically being homeless and destitute and bag ladies. It's an irrational fear on the one hand, but it's a very real fear for those women that have this. It is a psychological term that has been used. So it's a real term that psychologists use.
But you're not homeless, you're not destitute. So how in the world did you connect this term to yourself?
Sure. Well, when I heard the term, I felt like, aha, it was one of those light bulb moments that we moved around a lot when I was a kid. My dad left when I was young, was in and out of my life. We didn't have a lot of money. I watched my mom and several other women in my family, women in my church or just within our circle really struggle to make ends meet. And I, from a very young age, equated money with stability. So work became an addiction for me. The harder I worked, the more money I could save, the more money I had, and the safer I felt. So work and money are not inherently bad. I'm not slamming anyone that works hard and not criticizing anyone that has a lot of money or doesn't have any money. But how I chose to use work and money in my life became very, very unhealthy.
So you mentioned in your article a book that helped you work through some of those feelings that you had about money and had taken you to a different level. Want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. So I've always been very generous, always been good with tithing. My mom and my grandma modeled that from a very young age. So even though I have this desire to save as much as possible and make as much as possible, I've never had trouble with generosity and tithing. And just, to me, it's a practice. And, 100% of what I own and have is strictly, because of God. So I have no trouble giving back 10% or more if needed, or when I feel it's something that I believe in. So back in 2015, Gary Johnson, who's our boss now, the executive director of E2, was my senior pastor at the Creek, and he wrote a book called Too Much: Living with Less in the Land of More. And as part of a gift to the church, he gifted each family with a book. I read the book. I was just kind of zooming along the book. I felt, that I had a lot of these practices and principles in check, I guess I would say, until I got to the chapter on trust. And he asked, his question, make sure I quote him correct, was, when will we begin trusting our Creator? And for some reason, that question stuck with me. I don't know why, but to this day, I can remember the feeling in the pit of my stomach of I was not really trusting God, the creator of the universe, the creator of me, in my financial life.
So tell us a little bit more about how that question really affected you. I mean, you've said that it had an effect on you.
Yeah. Well, I was trusting my work ethic. I was trusting my grit, my ability. I love numbers, so I have a numbers brain, and I was trusting in my ability to make the numbers work, to invest, to basically I was trusting in myself, in a way, myself and money. So I knew life could change in a moment. I've seen it happen for people, which kind of goes back to that whole bag lady syndrome. But I thought really that if that happened to me, if I got sick, if I got cancer, if my husband died, it would be my checking account balance, my ability to save that would save me. I heard the quote once, I trust God, but I still lock my doors at night. And I think this was me. I was professing my trust in God through my testimony, through my life, but I was still killing myself with work. And I was justifying it by saying it was common sense. So, it's common sense to lock your doors at night, right? Well, it's common sense to just keep working and amassing wealth, even though I trusted in God. So that, I was just really kind of saying I trusted God, but really putting all my faith in myself.
So then you did make a life change, a big life change, really, because you went from a full-time career to working part-time now with E2. So tell us a little bit about that change and how you dealt with it, from a financial standpoint, especially.
Yeah. Probably a lot longer conversation than we have time for here, but I'll sum it up very quickly. I burned out. Everyone has a limit to what you can physically, mentally, emotionally handle. And my job took its toll, and I burned out. I flamed out big. And I couldn't do it anymore. So I had worked and worked and worked to please other people, to make money. I got my sense of self, my self-satisfaction from the wrong places. And I think you can only do that for so long, especially if you are a Christian. You can only live that double life for so long of saying I trust, but then not really letting your actions make sense of your words. So in June of 2021, I left my full-time career. I spent 5 months, I call it, in the wilderness. I wasn't really in the wilderness. I was in my house.
A
spiritual wilderness, yes. My brain just needed time to do nothing, to decompress. And I did yoga, I prayed, I cried, I read books. And then one afternoon, Gary Johnson called me. I had spent some time volunteering with you, Debbie, with an E2 event. And shortly after the event, I had spent some time volunteering. And then Gary called and asked if I wanted to work part-time for E2, doing some social media and marketing. And I said yes. And I think he was kind of taken aback, because he said, I haven't even told you how many hours you'll be working or what I can pay you. And I said, but the answer is yes. I knew it was where God wanted me to be. I knew that it was something that I had prayed for. It was going to be a much less stressful environment, a lot less hours, and a lot more control of the environment. I had always worked in secular property management. And so my faith was never something that I could really discuss or talk about. It wasn't free. It was very regimented. It's a very legalistic career. It's a very tightly managed career as far as the different laws that prevent religious discrimination, which is great. I don't believe anyone should be discriminated against for their religion, but also discriminated against me in being able to share my religion freely if I chose. So I said yes, and here I am.
Well, and we are so glad you're here.
I
So
love
you
it.
went from working full-time in property management to working part-time for a not-for-profit. Um, a great financial leap of faith, was it? I'm sure. So
Yeah.
how did you deal with that change?
Well, it's been a shift for sure, no doubt. But God always provides. He loves us. He gets us, and he knows what makes us tick.
Oh, so explain that. He knows, loves, and
Yeah.
knows what makes us tick.
Well, I think as I've gotten older and I have had a more personal relationship with God, I think God's funny. I think he has a sense of humor.
Absolutely.
If you've met my husband, you know God must have a sense of humor because he's given him lots of dad jokes to tell, unfortunately. But I love numbers and I love spreadsheets, and I also love, mental games. I love crossword puzzles and
Mhm.
Scrabble and things that kind of force me to think, but not in a work
Mhm.
thinking way.
Mhm.
So because God knows this about me, I think that he's given me some interesting tools and gifts to use for him, as well as to make my part-time job, work for us financially. After I worked part-time for a while, I was, searching for ways to cut costs. We have always been a very, simple family. We shop at Aldi. We don't take extravagant trips or vacations. We just don't have extravagant lifestyles. So, but I kind of felt like there had to be a way to shave off a little bit more
Mhm.
expense wise than we had. So I stumbled upon a coupon app on my phone, then another one, then another one, then another one, and
So what do you mean by coupon ads, like our apps? Are you cutting coupons from the newspaper on Sunday and Thursday?
no, actually, I find paper coupons to be a nuisance. They're annoying. But there are apps that you can download on your phone that are just like paper coupons. And they have apps and coupons for just about anything you could buy at home, whether it's groceries or shampoo or household cleaning items, really anything you can buy. I've been able to find a way to save money on these apps. So you name the item, I can probably find a coupon for it. And of course, I get my love of clearance racks from my mother. She taught me well, and I love my clearance shopping.
So do you have some favorite coupon apps that
I
you use?
do. Probably my favorite of all time is Ibotta. It pays you buy something, you submit the receipt, and then you get cash back that you can then turn into gift cards. I also love coupons.com, Fetch, Shop Meum is one that I just found a few months ago that I really like. There's so many great apps out there, and it can be really overwhelming at first when I show people what I do on my phone. They think I've lost it, but again, I think it's God has fulfilled like this need for numbers that I have in my brain through saving money for my family. So it's also a great way to donate items, very low cost items, even free items to your local food bank or your women's shelter, whatever your passion is for giving back.
Well, and talking about food banks, I understand you taught a coupon class for the food bank at the Creek here at the church we attend.
Yes. I took my saving to a whole new level. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and Nancy Farrell, who is a friend of mine in our life group, who also helps run the food bank at my church, we were talking, and I was showing her my apps, and she was literally looking at me like I'd lost my mind, which sometimes I think I have. And it kind of snowballed from there. And I spent about 2 months collecting different items, either very low cost or free items from all my different apps that I use. And then I actually put together a PowerPoint presentation, again, fulfilling that need to create and use numbers. And I presented the how-to coupon using your phone to the local food bank participants. So it was funny and fulfilling and just kind of a culmination of my love for couponing and also teaching some people with some, financial challenges in their life, how they can do the same thing. And it was very rewarding. One Sunday after service, one of the ladies came up and she had her phone and she was, doing this. Asking me questions, and I was like, oh my gosh, somebody listened to me. And so I was able to show her how to, I think she had like 75 cents kind of trapped in the universe of the coupon app. And I was able to show her how to pull that in to actually cash it out and put the money in her PayPal account. So it's very rewarding.
It sounds complicated sitting here listening to you talk about it, but I'm assuming it's a slow process that just takes time and you become familiar with. And
exactly.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I've been doing it for about 18 months now. Again, I like it. It's a game to me because I feel like not God put these coupon apps in the universe, but people created them. Merchandisers want you to buy their product. They basically give it away for free if you know how to find it. So I love to save money for myself and my family. And it's just been a way to fulfill kind of my mental numbers game. And I've been able to donate so many different items to the food bank. I just bring Randy here at our food bank. I bring him just bags of different products and tell him I got all these for free, or I got this whole bag for $1.50, and he laughs and I laugh. But it's a tangible way to give back products that people need to live. And also it's fun. It's been a fun, rewarding process.
Well, I know one day this week you told me the example of razors and feminine products, which are really kind of expensive. And if you are on a very limited income, your couponing has allowed you to donate some of those things to a food bank where they can be well used.
Yes, Randy loves when I bring him bags of feminine hygiene products. he gets a kick out of it. And and razors. Don't ever pay full price for a razor again, people, ever. Email me and I will tell you how you never have to pay full price again.
There you go. Well, so you've been away from your full-time career now for almost 18 months. And have you had changes in the way you think about money?
Good question. Absolutely. I realize, number one, how little you really need to be happy. Some of the fluff things I used to purchase just don't get purchased anymore, and that's fine. But most importantly, I have learned without a doubt that God always provides. I knew that, but now I feel it in my heart. And God is good, and he gets us. He wants us to have fun and to be happy and to be content. And that's what I have been provided the last year. And I'm just so thankful.
And finances are a part of his kingdom. I mean,
yes,
very much a part of his kingdom. So we have to learn how to be responsible with our finances, both in the way they come into our home and the way they go out of our home. We've covered a lot of ground today. We've learned about the bag lady syndrome. We've learned how God loves generosity. And we've even learned a little bit about couponing apps. So if someone has a question, wants to learn more about what I call your addiction, how can they learn more?
Well, the easiest way would be just email me, Christina@e2elders.org, and I can send you my PowerPoint presentation from the food group meeting, and also just send you links to some of my favorite apps. It really is, it can be complicated. I would just suggest start with one app, master that, and then you can add more as they come, or it might not be for you too, and that's fine. But I think there's a lot of, we've got a lot of friends that homeschool. We have a lot of stay-at-home mom friends, and even our friends that are seniors and are on a fixed income can find ways to save, a dollar here, a dollar there. It really does add up. And of course, I track everything on my spreadsheet, so I even have proof and receipts to show how much I've saved. So it's I'd love to help anybody that's interested in getting started. It's very rewarding.
Perfect. And again, that's Christina at e2elders.org.
Yes.
Easiest way to get in touch with you.
Easiest way.
Well, it's been fun talking about this today with you. We don't often think of finances as being a fun topic, but I think it has been, it is, and it can be, yes. So ladies, it's been good to have you join us today. Again, I want to say a very deep thank you to CDF Capital for making this podcast possible. So check back in with us. We'll see you again next month.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Bye.